Okay, I got this thing playing somewhere else. It's crazy. You're listening to All Burgundy Gold Errything. Hey, George, do me a favor. Take the lead because I have this show playing in the background, and I need to not have it playing in the background. So, George, introduce everybody real quick.
Yes, you are listening to All Burgundy Gold Errything, Commanders.
Live stuff. He just said it was live. He just tried to update it.
Okay. You're listening to All Burgundy Gold Errything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene, Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. We got breaking news. The Commanders almost clean house, and and joining us to talk about it is the great Candi Waller of Bowie TV Sports. My name is George. Wole will be back with us shortly. Glenn may be joining us later. Make sure that you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all our other podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy Gold Errything, 3 R's. Hit us up on X, Instagram, and TikTok at ABG_Errything, 3 R's. Also like our All Burgundy Gold Errything Facebook page. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. If you're in the YouTube chat, we accept super chats. They help us. They help support the show, and they will be prioritized over all the other comments. Our show is also streaming on the Urban Sports Scene's X handle. Here is the rundown. We are going to be chatting with Candi Waller, as who we introduced, about the exit of Kliff, Kingsbury, and Joe Whitt Jr. from the organization. Candi, welcome to All Burgundy Gold Errything. Glenn, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. I know, what is this? We have to find another name other for emergency. I'll figure it out. I knew I was gonna be busy. I said I'm not gonna get any sleep. I said it last. I told you, I said, hey, it's gonna be busy and get no rest, but okay.
All out here said George was right. Yeah, Candi, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're on. Yeah, this is like wow. So obviously, like this news hit everybody like left, to be real with you. So I got the word, I think early this morning. I must say, was it this morning or this afternoon? It was early in the day or whatever. We got the word at Kliff that the Commanders have parted ways with Kliff Kingsbury and Joe Whitt Jr. I think we all knew that Joe Whitt Jr. was gone. Like he was basically gone for real anyway. So even when it was announced, were you surprised you heard the news? And if you weren't surprised, were you surprised you heard the news that soon?
Probably this soon. But I wasn't surprised. You know what I mean? I was gonna give them at least the end of the week or something. But I knew they were meeting. I knew that, all the staff, they're meeting, right? The players and then staff. And then I also knew that teams were reaching out to get permission and all that to use certain people. So yeah. It kind of is what it is. I mean, hey, I guess it's better late than never, and maybe it was already late. But with Joe Whitt, and then with Kliff, if they can agree with the approach, with the offensive approach, and approach for continue to develop Jaden, then hey, it kind of is what it is. But I didn't envision Kliff staying. Like I said, I think I said before, the Minnesota game, you can't not scoring any points in December. It's just not with all, but two of your starters. You just can't do it.
Now I do want to add this though too. Like for me, and George, I'm gonna let you go next. For me, that's why yesterday when I was saying, on another show that the press conference was so telling, I kept saying using the word interesting. That's the term I kept using because it was already as if they decided they right there, they decided it's over. You know what I mean? Like they were, when the reporters were asking about the coordinator and the term, and they were saying everything is being examined. I'm like, okay, he's gone. Because if you believe in somebody, he's your guy, you're bringing him back. There is no examining, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're examining what you can do differently as a unit, as a whole staff, but you're not talking about you're examining that, like the coordinator, the coaches and whatnot. You're not referencing them that way. So for me, I'm like, oh yeah, he gone. You know, so that's the thing. He's gone. Joe Whitt. So we already thought he was gone. Glenn, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought too, right? Because when I looked at the press conference early this morning, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna do a video on the press conference and break it down. But I had to leave out of the house because I'm like, this is telling because he never mentioned Kliff Kingsbury's name in the whole press conference, right? It was telling him even when it was asked, and Adam Peters said, well, that's all Dan's decisions, right? Adam Peters said, I have nothing to do with this. This is Dan's decision, which means let me know. Guess what? Dan's gonna make this decision. It's nothing to do with Adam Peters. Remember, we talked about on previous podcasts how much involvement does Adam Peters have? Well, he told us at the press conference yesterday he has none, which means this. Everything falls and starts with Dan Quinn. And when it comes to the coaching staff, it's Dan Quinn. So which means when you fire your coordinators, and we may not say it, and I'm going to say it now, Dan Quinn's on the hot seat. Dan Quinn's on the hot seat. When you let both your coordinators go, that's like you're on a short leash for next season.
Yeah, you gotta make it work.
But he had to. You know what I mean? Like, what you gonna do? You can't keep you have to at this point. Like you don't have a choice, right? Because it's like you have to. I mean, Joe Whitt was that's non-negotiable. That is non-negotiable. You had to take over those responsibilities in season. So when something like that happens, you already know what time it is, right? And several other coaches, you got to look at, like, even the Lions fired their offensive coordinator. Remember when Dan Campbell had to take over OC responsibility? Yeah. Somebody has to take over responsibility. They're gone. And then
we got Ray in the building. What's up, Ray?
And then with Kliff, it's just 0 points was all. That was it. I said, well, and there's your finale because and I think I may have said on a few pre-games, he better call the game of his life the next few games because you're not gonna be here calling them. Not scoring, and I'm not sure if people really understand the magnitude and the importance of having all but 2 of your starters and scoring no points. That was embarrassing. That was so embarrassing. Like, even from like a career person, like I'm talking about, like if I'm Kliff Kingsbury, I might have cried myself to sleep that night. For real. Because there's no excuse for that. There's 0 excuse for why. Minnesota's defense they're great, but they're not that great. Okay. You couldn't even score. You couldn't even get in field goal range.
Yeah, they got
that goal line was the only time they got close. And first drive of the game.
And that was it. And there was so many times that when you saw them not be able to convert, they could be moving right along in that first series. They have the turnover on downs or a turnover happen. Some type of turnover on downs, 4th down, whatever, or they turn the ball over. And he just could not recover. And that one was the one that I said I actually thought he was going to be gone Monday morning. I was like, Kliff. But then I also know that that's not how they roll. That's just not from a culture perspective. Just don't do that. But this was the concern when Kliff got here. It was a concern, and Jaden is the muscle. He's the juice. And so it was, he didn't have Jaden. He was new shiny toy all the time. So it didn't help anybody.
And George, you have a question for Candi?
I wanted to do a comment on what Candi was talking about.
Sure.
In that Minnesota game. They had 12 first downs. They had an 83-yard drive to start the game where they didn't score, and they only had 206 yards the whole game. So after the first drive, they had about 120 yards total offense. And when you consider who was available, that is if there was a bottom point of this season, that was it. That was an absolute dead bottom.
It was the Minnesota. That was it. And I was like, Kliff ain't gonna be here tomorrow, y'all. Watch. But he was still there, and I was like,
okay. And I want to throw this out here because I threw it out during the post game last night. I understand that this was supposedly Kliff's decision, but I find it hard to believe that Adam didn't go to Kliff and didn't go to DQ and say, you got to change these guys. Like, this might have been DQ's decision, but I felt like he was being leaned on by the general manager, because that's happened a lot of other places. General manager's gone to the coach and said, you need to change your staff.
I mean, I don't think anybody had to say anything. Like,
Well,
I mean,
maybe.
hell, I
That's
could have
fair.
told him that. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not the Minnesota game. Like, it's just 12-5 to 5-12. It's just no excuse. I mean, somebody's got to pay, right? Got to be a level of accountability there. And in December, that's my challenge with this. Like, you're not just getting used to each other. You're not just getting to know each other. It's December. And that, I mean, that was also the game where Kliff Kingsbury said publicly there were at least 30 plays he wished he could have taken back. How is that possible? How is that possible?
It's like 50 some of the games.
He's right. He's accurate, because I probably counted about 30 myself. But how is that possible? That you I mean, a play here and there. I even give you a play or two a quarter. You know, make it equal, 8. 8 plays you like to take back, maybe 10. But 30? And it's just, hey, yeah, I mean, the players, I see this comment here. Everybody likes Kliff. I like Kliff.
But to me, there's no more useless thing on earth than that right there. Not that Ray said it, but that's true, because if that was the case, you'd have put up a better effort than what they did.
Yeah,
You didn't ride for Kliff that hard if you didn't play. If you play like that on the field.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not seen any players say anything publicly. Let me be clear on that. I've not seen where any players have said anything publicly. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that when Jaden is asked in a press conference, he talks highly of Kliff. He always has. They all have. Okay. And I'm going to. Me saying that performance in Minnesota was abysmal and that could cost you your job is not me saying I don't think the world of Kliff Kingsbury. This is why I always try to tell people more than one thing can be true, you all. I can say, hey, that's going to cost you your job. And I can also say, I think the world of him. And I had a pleasure covering him. And I would welcome the opportunity to cover him again. I think he's a very interesting individual. And he has a lot of great things to offer. But without Jaden Daniels being healthy, it showed his hand. It showed a lot of people's hand. It showed a lot without having JD5 out there healthy. So, I mean, I haven't, of course, nobody dislikes Kliff at all. And he did take, like Sam Cosmi said today, hey, listen, I thought he was great. He asked players for their input, which he shared publicly, asked players for their input. They do all that. That's great. I don't know if he took the input or not. He didn't take the head coach input. So, I mean, I don't know.
I do want to add this too, because something that George said. I think they played hard, because again, with all the injuries, offensively they play hard. It's not about playing hard, because I think the players produced. Like Josh Johnson produced, so he had to play hard. Marcus Mariota played hard. Players played hard. They just weren't like, it's about putting them in positions to be successful, though, right? The players played hard for him. I'm not denying that. I won't do that to him. But what I will say is that he didn't help him. He didn't help himself. No, put it that way. He didn't help himself. Like we talk about the conflict, the reports about him and Dan Quinn, like that to this. I don't know if it's a hatchet job. I have no idea, but it does make sense about how there was a disconnect in the run pass element. That's a report that's out there between Dan Quinn and Kliff Kingsbury. So that's why I do think that, like, Dan was over Kliff. I do believe he was over Kliff. I think that's a person that he probably wouldn't have kept. Joe Whitt's a whole different. I don't know, but I think Kliff, Kliff is a guy he wouldn't have kept. I know, you can tell. Like, it's a guy that he wouldn't have kept. It was running thin. Because I do want to ask you this, Candi, too, because it kind of explains like some of the roster moves. Because Kliff he coaches the offense, and we always question why, like, Chris Rodriguez was always on the practice squad. Was it more? And then one week, then when Chris started getting playing time, he was a captain, like a team captain. Like, so now I'm going backwards, right? And I'm trying to think of things. Was the making Chris Rodriguez a captain and giving him that highlighted position on the team as he became running back one, arguably during that stretch of games. Was that more of a Dan call or was that a Kliff call?
What, the game captains?
No, one game captain. Well, not the game captain. That's always Dan. But like the Chris Rodriguez all of a sudden not getting playing time to become running back one. Like, because for a while he started being running back one. Was that a Dan call or was that a Kliff call?
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, this run pass thing, they've been talking about it in press conferences. It's not new conflict.
Yeah.
Okay, or a new difference of opinion. Because DQ would come out and say, yes, I would like to see the ball ran more. Yes, that's a point of emphasis that we need to do. And then Kliff will come out on Thursdays and say, yes, we got to get the ball back in the running back's hand. You know, Chris Rodriguez is having an amazing season. He's doing this, he's doing that. And then you wouldn't see Chris Rodriguez the whole second half. So that's what I'm saying. Like they would say it, but it was just something about in game where it didn't happen.
It was like listening to Jay Gruden, because Jay Gruden used to say that all the time. Oh, we got to run the ball more. Well, you're the coach.
And
what the hell?
Right. And so then it would be like maybe in recent weeks, you would see we started seeing it a bit more. Right.
Yeah, when the season's over.
Right. The season was over at that point. Right. Because I distinctly remember, I can talk about in Madrid, the whole second half, the Chris Rodriguez was having an amazing game. The run game was effective. And I distinctly remember people were like, is Chris Rodriguez hurt? And I was like, nope. I'm looking right at him. He is not hurt. He's standing right there with his helmet on. You see him right here? And we were, well, why isn't he in the game? Somebody got to ask Kliff. I don't know. Nobody would know. And so it just be like, I don't know what happened. But there was, you know, I also remember,
that's what I'm saying.
I also distinctly remember in a press conference, I would have to go back in my notes to see when it was. And I was kind of like, Kliff, what? And he was like, we're gonna do whatever Jaden is comfortable with, because this is his, this is his show, or this is his, this is something he said. This is his journey. I'm just riding, is what he said. Like, basically, this is his show. I'm just riding. And I was like, Kliff, wait a minute. That's not good.
But you got to remember this, and this is the problem with the head coach and offensive coordinator. This was the problem Kliff has to remember. When you have a head coach and you have an offensive coordinator, that's your boss. If the head coach tell you to run the football, guess what you do? You run the doggone football. If the head coach tell you to play, if you tell the head coach tell you put a player in, you put the player in. And so that's the disconnect, is that Kliff Kingsbury did not follow Dan Quinn's instructions or rules. They may not say it out loud. The disconnect is that Dan wanted one thing, Kliff said nothing, and we ain't on the same page. You can't be here. No. If you can't follow what I asked you to do, because now you're causing a rift. I'm gonna use their word. You're causing a rift in the brotherhood. You're causing a rift in this organization, and you can't be here. And that's what it is. When the head dude says, "Hey, do this," and I don't know who's watching. I know some dudes got fired this year because they listened on the high school level. They didn't do what the head coach told them to do.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things I said. I think everybody's getting on Dan Quinn. I'm like, I think he's giving too much autonomy. And I get allowing people to fail on their own, but if I feel like, I'm only going to give you, I don't have that kind of tolerance. I don't have that kind of willpower to just watch you fail like that. Like I told you, I was done week 7. That was it for me. Like week 4 defense, week 7 offense, something's got to change. And it didn't. You saw a minimal change on defense because DQ started playing the calls. You virtually saw no change on offense. And I will continue to say, yes, Joe Whitt should have gotten the grief, but Kliff wasn't getting the same smoke. And I would be like, y'all, there's things that can be done. It's things that can be done. And to Wole's point, all of y'all's point, Kliff did not help himself. I don't know how Dan Quinn was wording things. I don't, like I said, did you say it like it was a suggestion? Or like, how about you run the ball a little bit more? I think you should. And it's like I said, I think, okay, that's cool. You think I should, I'm not. I don't want to. Okay. And I don't, because so much of what you say and how you communicate can be taken the wrong way. And that's why I want to know what's going on in his headset. Oh, well, I'm making suggestions. He literally told, I'm making suggestions, and, you need to be direct.
Yeah.
Your statement.
Especially when you're on the 1 yard line. And how many times Washington was on the 1 yard line this year and didn't get into the end zone? How many times Washington was on the red zone and didn't run the football, right? Where you have Chris Rodriguez, you have Bill Crosby, you have McNichols, who's a big body. You got on the 1 yard line and you cannot run the ball. That is offensive coordinator. Dan Quinn should have used veto power and say, you know what? Run the freaking football. Give me the ball. Run the ball. Simple. It's sometimes it's very simple. And then let's be honest. Some of this was going on last year.
It was.
And Jaden changed a lot of plays. Remember the conversation we had last year? Jaden was changing a lot of plays. Jaden changed a lot of stuff and he covered Kliff's butt because it worked successfully. Because Jaden changed it and Jaden didn't believe in it. That's why he changed the plays and it worked. I'm just saying.
That's what happened. And it was like everybody, like Jaden is running the offense, everybody. And it was like nobody sees this. But Glenn, you saw it. I'm glad Glenn saw it. I'm glad others probably saw it. Jaden was running offense a lot of the time.
We got what did Paul say? We all knew Kliff's offense hits a wall. The only difference was that JD carried the offense over the wall.
But also, do you all recall, like, if you really, if you're listening to these press conferences?
Oh, Glenn froze.
Someone is am I frozen? Oh, that's Glenn.
No, Glenn good now. He good. He back.
Oh.
Hey, I had to stop emergency pod. I left a call in a basketball game.
We appreciate you. Yeah.
It was a little choppy. Hopewell lost tonight. But anyway, if it's a little choppy, it's why, because I'm at the radio station, so it got me.
Hey, Glenn, we appreciate you. I knew you was on site, man. I know, Glenn. You don't gotta get them the info. They don't need to know this.
So I think that let me yes, JD5. I will continue to say it. It was happening in everybody's faces. He started his energy. That's what started the fourth down conversions. He called plays. He changed plays. He made it work. He did his thing. And if you ever think about some of the cool plays that got talked about in press conferences, you always notice it was never Kliff's call. It was somebody else's. Even a couple weeks ago, we were talking about a couple calls in the Giants game. He was like, "Oh yeah, Brian Johnson called that." Went on to Brian Johnson's call. There was a few plays last year. It was David Blau's call. Yeah. And once I started really going down in the research of how many of those calls were David Blau's, right? And let me also use your clues, everybody. It was right there in all of our faces again.
Who's being rumored?
Tavita Pritchard leaves 1 week and they score no points the next.
That's true. That's a good point.
So I don't even want to hear all this about Kliff's offense, because whose offense was it really?
Right. And Blau is being looked at for the OC at the Detroit Lions.
He will be going somewhere.
Yeah.
Senecor, I think we are talking about the flaws in the process. I think this last few minutes is exactly what Candi and Glenn are detailing about.
It's the collaborative approach. But the problem with the collaborative approach is who is the final decision maker?
I have another question, and maybe it's too early to ask this.
Hey, Shelly.
I know what they said at the press conference about this is Dan's decision, and he's got and it's going to be his call. Are we going to get Dan connected coordinators, or is we going to get somebody that's outside? Because to me, that's the real question here. I have felt that Adam Peters is going to pick these coordinators. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that.
I don't think he is.
No.
He's
okay.
Not.
No. All right.
Dan's going to fall on his own sword. If Dan's going to lose, if Dan's going to get fired, Dan's going to get fired with his own picks.
He's gonna get fired with who he picked, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean a person in his circle. At this point, he's got to just do what's best for the offense and Jaden's development. Who can come in here and quickly, like for Jaden's development, that is a key thing. injuries and no injuries, this will be year 3 of his career.
Yeah.
So
Shelly. Yeah, he said it. Like AP said it.
Yes.
He said it point blank period.
Yep.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Taj because Taj said this yesterday, right? Talk about reading clues. Taj picked up yesterday. We talked about it, not yesterday, on Sunday. Sorry. On Sunday, Taj picked it up where the Josh Johnson's play we talked about for like 10, 15 minutes, where Josh Johnson came off and went straight to DQ and didn't go to Kliff Kingsbury.
He did say that. Yeah, he did pull that.
I didn't even. I saw George had put. All I said was, "Hey, everybody's learning how to use their clues." I didn't touch it because I was like, "Listen, we gotta get through the week." And I ain't know all we had was 48
we gotta get through the week. We gotta get through the week.
I didn't know all we had was 48 hours. But I mean, I'll take on now. I talked to Kliff after the game. So I told him, I knew it wasn't.
Yeah, Howie looked different though, man. Howie a beast, dog. I mean,
no, Howie's gonna do whatever he wants.
Howie different, man. Coach.
Howie and
different,
Coach Sirianni, it's a different ball game over there. Up there, his whole thing. And so
Kliff ain't going to Baltimore.
No, but this was he be geeking though.
Some of these national reports, this is why y'all come to Bowie TV, because if it's 2 teams that Bowie TV is on site for and understand, it's the Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens. I saw that report and was like, okay, everybody. And then I had to repost something from a year ago where Kliff told all of us we were in Arizona that he and Todd Monken are cool. So if your issue was
they are cool. They're super cool.
They're super cool. When he was getting back into coaching, that was his bag.
Yeah, I know.
He got with Todd Monken. He told that publicly, and we made a whole thing about it, did a whole story on it before the Commanders and Ravens played last year. Okay, so if y'all got in a little tiff over here over Todd Monken, why on earth would you hire Kliff Kingsbury?
That's a good point.
I'm gonna go on out of limb and say Kliff Kingsbury won't be a head coach next year in the NFL.
That he won't, he will be.
I don't think he won't. I don't think he will. I don't think he has.
I don't know why he would be after me. Look, think
about the job. Think about the jobs, because the Harbaugh situation has messed a lot of things up right now. Because Harbaugh gets fired, and 6 teams that are open have all called Harbaugh. Right? So Harbaugh may be the New York Giants. He could be down wherever the case may be. He could be in Atlanta. I mean, Raheem Morris has already got interviews for jobs. Raheem Morris got interviews for jobs.
I think he could get a job.
Kliff is not going to the Raiders.
I think that he would be excellent in college. I do. I do. At the college level, I think he'd be fantastic.
Look, let me say this much, man. I think he could get a job. Reason why I say this, and look, think about it, man. They're calling Jason Garrett for the Tennessee Titans for an interview.
They're just calling everybody.
It's ludicrous.
I'm just telling you. I'm just saying, like, I know they call her. I'm just saying, like, he can get an interview. I'm just saying, like, he will be talked to it, and it only takes one to love you. Like, to be real with you, a lot of people didn't think Dan Quinn was getting this job.
Well, he wasn't supposed to. It was going to be doggone Ben Johnson.
The only challenge, the only thing where I'll tell you what convinced me when the NFLPA survey came out, and I found he was always top 3 players. Yeah. Love him. Kliff don't have that same effect.
No, I'm just saying a lot of teams weren't, like, he wasn't top on a lot of people's list. Dan Quinn. I'm just saying that's all it takes is one team to love you. That's all I'm saying. If you're getting interviews, it'd be different. You not getting interviews. He's getting interviews. Like, he's got a boatload of teams that want to interview him. That's a fact.
Nothing has been confirmed yet on which he's got.
Exactly, but they said like the Giants. Well, there are reports by like some of these people that
they're might be interested, but there's been no confirmation.
They said they reached out. They said they reached. I think Adam said they reached out to him. So I'm just saying, like, he's gotten feelers already. That's all I'm saying. Now he's scheduled. That's a whole different beast. But it is what it is. I'm just saying, like, there are bad coaches in the league everywhere, and that's all I'll say that much. There are bad coaches everywhere. That's something.
I shot my shot years ago and got on somebody's coaching staff and just been coaching and got fired and gone somewhere else because I mean, hell, I could have did some of this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm not arguing.
There y'all go. This is going to be a mess. This coaching carousel, what's happening this season is a mess. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. It's a mess because some of the, I mean, I understand firings, but sometimes we, and this is even for it's even here, right? Like you're given a short window of success, right? It's a very small runway. But when you're dealing with a team that still, is 500, I've always had like a thing, like if you're at least 500, just I mean, I can see not you making a playoff, maybe at least 500, let it try out. Let's let it play out, especially if your quarterback was injured or something happened or whatever the case may be.
Got a question for Deluxe.
Everybody's just gonna be working for the same team. They're just going to be in a different team. It's ridiculous.
That's true. Question from Deluxe. Are they protecting their own by partying with Kliff?
No, because people are open. Nobody's being blocked from taking another position.
Okay, got one more from a question from Shelly. Is DQ officially going into a lame duck season? And if he doesn't get these hires right, I
don't know. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people, and everybody loves to bring up the 49ers, and I think it's a great example of how long Kyle Shanahan has been there when it's been up and down seasons.
Yeah.
For various reasons. And so
he's also been to a Super Bowl though too. So I mean that's a hard one.
Right, but you know what I mean? Like
he's had some up and downs. Yeah, he has. He's had
some Super Bowl, then not playoff years, right?
Yeah, he's had that. Definitely.
Because of injuries. And it's similar, right?
Yeah.
But he's also had 7 or 8 years to nail his program.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where I start to get conflicted. If you are changing coaches and coordinators every 2-3 years, at what point are you able to nail your program? Right? How? If you're constantly changing people, at some point you're gonna have to, because Kyle Shanahan ain't been, he's had up years, he's had down years.
Yeah, he just had a 3-year. He's had a 3. The difference, I'll only say this: the difference would be his first 3-4 years was like straight playoffs. Like he wasn't like then after that he started having those up and down years.
And it's still been 7 and 8 years that he's been able to keep his job though.
True,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like
remember he's losing coordinators because they're getting hired to be head coaches. He's not firing coordinators because they stink. I think that's something we got to remember with him.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't. Something's gonna have to give unless the reality is you just know because you there that this ain't gonna cut it.
Ain't gonna cut it.
This is just
to me. I think to answer Shelly's question myself.
Yeah,
I think Dan Quinn's such on the hot seat that if they have a bad start next year, he could be an in-season firing.
Well, I mean, anytime. This is what I would say. Anytime that you have to lose your 2 coordinators, right? It's like Candi says, use your clues. I mean, you can't start slow.
If you fire them, because I mean, but see, this is the challenge, because then you look at Detroit.
Yeah.
They lost, to your point, they lost their 2 coordinators to head coaching jobs. But Dan Campbell just fired his coordinator, like the person that he promoted.
Yeah.
And that he come to the role was on his staff. He fired him.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
But also it depends on
lead, and now we not. Now you act like you don't know how to run the offense. You gotta go.
Yeah.
One thing about go back to the press conference real quick.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn and Adam Peters seem so buddy, right? And it seems so buddy. And my thing is this with Dan Quinn and with even Adam Peters being so chummy. Will Adam Peters pull the trigger on a Dan Quinn if he does start slow, right? Because the whole press conference, they talked about we're starting now. Development is now. We're working on progress now. We're doing everything we need to do now. We're meeting. So, like, they knew we started before the season was even over working on this situation, which means a lot of these decisions had already been made. They were just waiting the right time to pull the trigger, right? Meaning that they want to know who's coming in, who his coordinators are, who can work with Jayden, who can work with the young quarterbacks. Now you got to look at even now. You're looking at is Marcus Mariota and is he coming back as a backup, right? Because a lot of these questions when new OC comes in, a lot of things are going to change coming to this Washington Commanders team, right? And so there is a big shift. I don't want to say in culture, but whoever the OC is has to be a good fit. Has to be a good fit for not only Jaden, but I'm talking about Bill Krosky-Mary, for C-Rod. You got a lot of these players who are young on the offensive line. It was Kliff Kingsbury who stuck his head out to get Conley. That's what they said, right? It was Kliff call to get Conley. So now the OC who comes in has to nurture a second-year offensive lineman. So it becomes it's going to be pivotal. Whoever Dan Quinn selects for the OC, he's going to have some experience. So I don't think this is a young guy, first OC job coming in, who does it. This somebody with experience at OC that has to develop Jaden in an offensive lineman. Because you got Brandon Coleman, who's another young offensive lineman. All right, Larry Tunsil deal has to get done. And so you have to keep, because you want to keep Jaden upright. That's your bread and butter. So the new OC has to come in, figure out how can I keep Jaden upright and develop the offensive line, quarterback, and young running backs at the same time. Anthony Lynn is going to be important to stay with this football team because the O-line coach I heard too also is gone.
Yep, Bobby Johnson is gone.
So you have to keep Anthony. To me, Anthony Lynn has to stay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you would think. But
yeah, I don't know if he's going to stay. To be honest with you, I think the whole coaching staff on offense and defense are being reviewed, and it depends on. It's going to depend on who the new OC is, man. It ain't going to be about what in terms of position coaches. It's going to be who that OC wants, because that OC is the one controlling the offense. They're going to want who they believe can help them coach. I like Anthony Lynn. I think he's been great, to be real with you. Shoot, I like Daryl Tapp, but he may not be back because of the new DC. If they get a new DC, he may not want Daryl Tapp.
Yeah, that whole DC
it's going to be up to whoever this new OC. Because I know if I'm an OC and I want to make my thing work, my offense work, I want my guys. I want my guys.
Anthony Lynn for me to be the only guy that I would promote from within.
Anthony
Lynn's about the only guy I would promote from within. I think when it comes to everybody else, I think it's got to be somebody outside.
Promote to what?
To OC.
Oh, offensive coordinator. Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
There's nobody on that defense I'm looking at and saying we ought to promote him.
I've never said anybody should be it. I mean, the only other person you have from a offensive coordinator potential is maybe Brian Johnson, right? Because he's the assistant coach.
He did it before, because he did it before too.
Right, he's done it before, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. And that's
Brian Johnson to run football.
Yeah, I don't see it. Not based on what's needed in this league, but it's a lot that I don't see. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't know why the Atlanta Falcons fired Raheem Morris. Like, I wouldn't have fired him. You know what I'm saying? But that's
I called that for months. I saw that coming. That one was coming.
But these windows, it's so short. It's ridiculous to me. But it's like, what do you learn from the teams who have had a longer road? I mean, I know some people have been saying Sean McDermott might end up getting fired.
Yeah,
that's fired. I mean, but John Harbaugh, it was
this weekend. I can see it.
But it's going. I mean, you fire. And you go ahead and I understood it, because at first I was like, all right, let's give it a week. Let's see where the chips fall. But they might actually be seeing where the chips fall, because now it's like we're going to put our name in a hat because we know people want to come here.
Yeah. McDonald might be.
But it's also very, very Jaden. People may not want to believe it, but it's a real thing. You got to want to attract top free agents.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn are your two top attractions right now.
I also think that and I'll say this because we're in a new generation, and I'm gonna read what Paul said first. Paul says, this is a question: will DQ give the new OC complete control?
What's that?
Will DQ give the OC complete control? Will DQ give the OC complete control?
Well, Kliff had complete control. That's
he better. Yeah. I mean,
that's the issue here. Like he gave his coordinators complete control, and they did. And at the end of the day, to Glenn's point, earlier, they didn't listen to him when he said something. It was like, oh, and he said it in my question, in his answer to me. He gives suggestions. What?
Yeah.
Huh? You know what I mean? Like suggestion? No. So that's what Kliff had. They had complete autonomy.
Yeah. So I would to back on the OC. I think that it depended if you want to bring guys in, because I know this, like, because the younger generation of players, especially offense, if you bring in the offensive coordinator, everybody thinks they can put up numbers with, that can attract people too. Like, it's all about that allure of being in a position that you can be successful. I.e., why certain quarterbacks love going to a Mike Shanahan offense, because they believe that they can put up numbers in that said offense. There's a reason why when you look at, I'll use Kirk Cousins as an example, who chases money, but also chases particular situations. Kirk Cousins will go to the same type of OC mind typically all the time. He'll go to the Shanahan tree offense because it entices him, because he knows he can play well in that offensive system. Same thing for a defensive coordinator. If there's a defensive coordinator out there that has the reputation of always making players look good, that can also entice players to come as well. So, like, there are elements out there that I think when they do this hire, they can also lean on that. But depending on what OCs out there that people feel like can make, that can help entice, like, a wide receiver to come over here, because a wide receiver is only going to care about, can I get my number? Can I get my numbers there? One, they look at Jayden, they're going to be like, yeah, I got Jayden, I can put numbers up there. And then also they're going to look at their coordinator, going to be like, can you put me in a position to get my numbers? There's a reason why, like, Devontae Adams went to the Rams. I get to play with McVay, and I get to play with Stafford. Oh, I'm gonna get even with Puka, I'm gonna get numbers. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you just got to know, you got to go in, like, whoever they hire, they're gonna have to hire somebody that can't be. It's got to be somebody that the league respects. The league respects as a whole, and say on both sides, just say, yo, like, oh, I'm a eat over here.
So I think what you just said is very telling, because I don't think the other two coordinators necessarily had that.
Agreed. I agree.
And Quinn absolutely has it. I'm gonna tell you what they say. He got it. Jayden got it. Your two coordinators did not.
No, I agree with that. I know Joe Whitt is my defensive coordinator. I'm not looking at a situation and be like, I'm gonna eat. I know that for a fact. I'm telling you now, I'm not thinking I'm gonna eat. What'd you say, Glenn? I'm sorry, Glenn.
I would say Deluxe's question is key, man. A new OC will have Jayden bookend tackle, solid center guard, depth on O-line, wide receiver one, and explosive back. Pretty attractive prior to a free agency and draft.
I agree.
Fair point.
It's an attractive place.
Yeah.
No, it is definitely. You got it. And you know what's very attractive? That cap, that amount of money in the cap is very attractive.
They got money.
Money is very attractive.
Because of what they just went through with Terry, you already know they've learned from that. They're not about to play with the money.
Yeah, the money is very attractive.
Larry Tunsil will have his contract before March.
Oh, he better.
Let's hope so.
He better. Yeah. Definitely better.
Maybe he'll have his contract before the Super Bowl. That'd be great.
But Todd said something which I agree. This weekend will be talking about Kliff getting a job, because we all know Joe. I don't think Joe Whitt's getting a job. Let's be honest.
What job?
DC job. Joe Whitt's not getting a DC job.
No, never.
No, right.
No.
So Kliff getting a coaching job really depends on the AFC this weekend, because if Mike Tomlin loses the first weekend, he could be in the same situation.
Yeah,
right. So now with Mike Tomlin's job, if Pittsburgh comes open and Mike Tomlin's on the market, that knocks Kliff down.
Yeah, I agree. All that.
You got CWall, Tomlin, Kliff gets knocked down, and then it's not going to become a glamorous job. But let's be honest, Kliff Kingsbury want a glamorous job. He doesn't want the Jets. He doesn't want the Raiders. Right? Jets haven't came open yet. But he doesn't want the Jets or the Raiders. Right?
I mean, he wants the Raiders. Maybe I can see him going to the Raiders.
Because remember, they got Fernando Mendoza.
I do have a question for you, Candi. I don't like Mendoza that much. That's a whole different show. I do have a question for you though. Mm-hmm. You know, we all like Marcus, man. We do. We all like Marcus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Marcus has had his best football career. I'm not gonna lie to you. Season play, and regardless of people think, under Kliff. This offense is golden for Marcus. If anybody's watched, I've watched Marcus Mariota in Oregon.
Yeah,
this is the best Marcus Mariota has ever looked since Oregon. I've watched him in Tennessee. I've watched him in Atlanta, and he has not looked good in any of those places. Will not lie to you. It's the fact that to a point when we signed him, I was like, ugh. Like that's where I was. I was like, ugh. Would it like with losing Kliff, and Marcus is a free agent? And Marcus has had success with Kliff. Is there a possibility that Marcus, if Kliff does land in another situation in the league, is there a situation where we lose Marcus?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. See, I was thinking that too.
No, I thought that's the first thing I thought today. When Kliff was gone, I'm like, Marcus is gone. Like,
and let me say this too. You know, loyalty is the gift and the curse.
Yeah, it is.
Likability is also the gift and curse, right?
Yeah.
Because people can like you all day long, but if you're not getting it, what's done? You know what I mean? It's a balance.
Yeah, a fact.
It's a balance. I gotta like you. I even want to love you, but you have to produce. It's just a results-driven business, and I don't know. I mean, last year he didn't really have to play. He came in 2 games. He finished up those games for Jaden, but he didn't have to start.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't played this many games, in my goodness, right? Mm-hmm. So I would love for him to come back, but can he? I don't know. Mm-hmm. And so this will be a very interesting offseason for so many different reasons. Now with this coordinator situation, but position coach as well. Right? Yeah. Offensive line. And I've been saying, I know, here's the thing that made me think about with Bobby Johnson. I said, well, if Brian Daboll comes, he ain't gonna work for him. Right. And so that's if I don't know. I don't know. Because I've just kind of tuned myself out. Just for a moment. I'm back tomorrow. This is a lot was going on.
A lot is going on. Believe me, Candi, a lot is going on today. I should know. I'm double duty today.
And I'm like, just wait a second. And then, because here's the reality, even with the going to the Ravens real quick, and I know you just talked to Karina. They this morning, Coach Harbaugh was not getting fired.
No, he wasn't that this morning.
This morning, I promise you, I'm sure she already said it, he was not getting fired. So something happened this afternoon, okay? And there's that. And so that threw everything off for me. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's just wait till everybody just stop getting fired for a minute. And that becomes the other thing, because can you even effectively make a decision about OC and DC when people still playing?
No, you can't. You got to wait. They have to wait.
You got to wait. Just wait. Just wait, because now you can't even really interview people that's still playing unless you got to get like extra permission or something, whatever.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait it out.
Exactly. You gotta wait. So it's like just okay. Everybody firing people if you want to look sexy to the next person.
Yeah.
But just chill for a minute.
Unless you got somebody you absolutely want that you want. Like there's like unless there's a play like you've already again people I've said this before, because we might not catch wind of it or whatever. They talking to somebody.
Absolutely.
They talking to somebody.
Let me look. Let's all keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Everybody's always talking.
Yeah. They're holding to somebody.
Like, let's not act like people not. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
All the time. Okay. And you gotta weigh your options. These are very smart people, very savvy people. But the only thing I really thought about with Bobby Johnson, it was a couple things that I thought. I was kind of like, wait, because they fired him. So it wasn't a mutual parting of ways. That was a firing. And so I'm like, well, was that because of Brandon? Maybe they felt like it was a regression in Brandon. I don't know. That is just pure speculation. It's me just talking out loud.
Okay.
But I will.
To the point to the point you made about everybody needs to chill out and wait, do you think we see our new coordinators by, say, after the title games and before the Super Bowl, like in that time period?
Well, Senior Bowl is the end of this month. It's always like it's bowl season right now.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Whitt was going wherever, he was going with Dan Quinn. Were they in the playoffs that year? They hired Dan Quinn. They were, right?
Who's in the playoffs?
The Cowboys.
Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I think they might have went out the first round, though.
Not the first round, of course.
Yeah, first round, yeah.
They're first round winners. That's what they do. Winners, being out. Their first round.
Yeah. So it was wild card weekend, and then but Joe Whitt was going anyway. And so but Kliff was available. So only if it was, but Kliff, the announcement for Kliff, all I know is Senior Bowl is bowl season right now. It's all-star college games. And so Senior Bowl is the end of this month. But I don't think even Adam Peters is doing media availability down there now. That could change now. I don't know. He wasn't anticipated. I was not slated to go to Senior Bowl. I don't think I'm going still. But let me check on that now. But I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. Because if it's somebody that is available now, possibly, because they could go to Senior Bowl.
Paul has a question for the panel. I'm gonna start. It's gonna be for you, Candi, first. You think Dan is looking for an OC from the McVay-Shanahan tree? Because they do develop.
Give some names. Give some names. Like who?
Like the tree would be. No, the McVay, the Shanny tree would be. Like, you mean guys available?
That's available now. Give us
all right, so
the Daniels is not available.
Paul's available. It would probably be Bobby Slowick is in that tree.
Bobby Slowick's name has come up.
It would be. Clint Kubiak is still an offensive coordinator, but I don't think he's not available. He's a coordinator, so it's a lateral move. I think Slowick will be the only one. I'm sure. Like somebody can throw some names out there for me. I know that there's what's the I think LaFleur.
The brother LaFleur, yeah.
LaFleur, yeah. Clay.
Brother LaFleur.
Yeah. Yeah, no, brother LaFleur.
Come on, Mike.
His brother.
Mike.
Yeah. Then Clay Kubiak, who's because Paul mentioned he's under Sean McVay. He's with Sean McVay right now.
But is he available?
Because it would be a promotion. It would be a
promotion for him.
But
he's a quarterback.
If his brother gets hired, he's going with him, isn't he?
Slowick has come up. Mike LaFleur, the LaFleurs.
The LaFleurs. The
good
ones.
Like there's
a couple that's it. That's available. There are not that many available. Dabo. Dabo is an interesting one. I know people mention he's an interesting one.
His name has come up several times.
Yeah, he's very interesting.
I know people like he has a bad rep and from as a head coach.
When it comes to developing quarterbacks,
he's pretty good, man. He's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. He's pretty good.
Josh Allen. That's Josh Allen credit.
Daniel Jones.
I know for a fact, and it's well documented his love of Jaden Daniels, but I know from direct experience he loves Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, lateral moves have to be improved, and usually they get hated on. I've learned this. They be hated on. Lateral moves get hated on. Yeah.
But Kliff did too. Kliff loved Jaden. So
I know, and Jaden loved Kliff. It was said that it's been reported that Jaden is not happy with Kliff being gone.
He's not happy, but it's nothing he doesn't understand.
Yeah, I know.
I just want to say that out loud.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't like it either. If I'm being, I'm not happy. I'm not happy Kliff is gone. I like seeing Kliff. He wore very nice clothes on game day. That was fun. And it was cool. And I like talking to him. You know,
I don't think none of us are happy. I think because everybody fell in love with what Dolphins did last year.
I'm not happy with it either. And you build relationships, and I'm serious. It's hard. It's difficult. It's like, oh, here we go. We gotta meet somebody else, and we gotta get used to somebody else. Here we go. Oh God.
Yeah.
But that's still like, I mean, and I'm talking about it from a media perspective. What I'm saying doesn't even technically matter at all.
I know what you mean. I know.
But for the players, I mean, he was with Kliff a lot. And when he was time on task, practicing every day, Jaden spent all of his time with Kliff. So I know, of course, he doesn't like it, everybody, but he knows this is a business and he gets it, right?
I
but
do, yeah.
Right.
I do like this.
Get over it. He will
I like
thrive.
this comment, and I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read a couple of these questions. I like this comment from Gear Sales. Says AP's influence may have someone from Kyle's tree for OC.
Yeah.
Because obviously San Francisco, you know, there are ties to. I mean, to what?
Right.
What he's
whoever it is has to be able to speak Jaden's language, right?
That's right.
You have to speak Jaden language. You want to be your quarterback to be easy with the OC, right? You don't want rip. We haven't had a major issue with Jaden anyway with anything disruptive, and you don't want that to be the OC. Somebody who's talking to him in the offseason, somebody who's making sure he does what he needs to do in the offseason. So when training, because let's be honest, Jaden can't afford to miss training camp, right? He needs training camp. We talk about this all the time on the program, George. Training camp and mini camp OTAs is a must for Jaden Daniels this year.
He's preseason.
He got to start now.
He needs preseason.
He got to start now.
He's got to start now. I mean, this is. I mean, off-season workouts will be critical. Year 3, and that's for everybody. You know, that's for his whole draft class.
Like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Year 3 is critical for this group. For the 2024 draft class, Adam and DQ's first draft class, year 3 is critical. So everybody it's got to be up from here, or they're going to have to do some real hard evaluation on how they've been dealing with talent and developing them. So year 3 will be critical.
Yeah.
So
It'll be a competitive training camp.
Well, this organization can't afford another reset, right? This organization can't afford another reset.
No.
Yeah, shit. I'm with you. Jaden got to eat some food. Yeah, he got to eat some real. Like he need to eat. He need to go to. I mean, that's eventually. I mean, them things. Eventually, bowl hasn't been the same.
Go ahead and cook for him. Go. You know what he needs.
Five Guys. Then go to Five Guys. Get some burgers.
Nah, he need to go get 6-7 wings, some mumbo sauce, and mumbo sauce on the fries, and then he'd be living his best life. He would put on the weight. Just do it right. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd be all right. Just do that a couple times, and then you want to go to Adams More, get the big little jumbo slice pieces on them wild nights. Get one of them joints. They'll put on some weight on YouTube. He'd be all right, man. I know this. I've done this.
He just carb load. He just pasta.
I mean, yeah, that's like the non-fun way to do it. But yeah, he can do that too as well. Oh man, thanks for the super chat, man.
Thank you.
All right, for Rocky season, you guys are an absolute joy to watch. Keep up the great work, and please help us get through this off season. I appreciate. Oh my god,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much,
man.
I was in Starbucks. First of all, I was supposed to go to Starbucks super early, and then everything started. I mean, I'll tell y'all this now. Like this morning when I got up, I looked at my phone. I was like, "All right, it's happening. Okay." And then I laid there for a minute because I was like, I had to meet new people all over again. It's like that. It's that because this is real, right? And so if I'm complaining about it, I can only imagine like what a Jaden Daniels is feeling like. Again, all right, new people, okay. And then it just started snowballing, and I was not aware of Bobby Johnson initially.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that one called me up guard too.
I reported based on. Posting it first. The other 2 I was aware of, so that I got that information, and so that's why I reported the way I reported it. I was like, "Oh, this one first don't matter to me who was first on that one because I got the information right here in my phone, so I'm going to report it." But Bobby, I didn't know Bobby Johnson. Let me be clear, I was like, "Whoa, well, wait a minute now,"
right?
And so, that I was like, "Hey, it could be a use your clues. It could be Friday Bowl. It could be." I don't know, but or maybe they looked at the tape, they looked at the film and said the O-line didn't do what we needed them to do, or maybe they feel some type of way about Brandon. I don't know, but I wasn't expecting that, and it could be more. I'll just like to say that out loud.
What about Mike McCarthy? I don't want Mike McCarthy.
No.
Quarterback development. You know, somebody who's got to lead quarterback development and know how to scheme effectively with the right run pass balance and be ready. Be ready for these defenses and these defensive lines, because here's the reality: everybody loves Jaden until they got to play him.
Yeah,
so they come after him.
And let's not forget.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think Bobby's definitely team Kliff. I think they're like that. I think that's another. I think Bobby's gonna go with Kliff if he does get a job. I think he'll go with Kliff.
I mean,
all right, birds of a feather flock together. Keep going.
Thoughts on Alex Van? I've liked him as an offensive coordinator. I think he is good. He's a smart. He used to play in the league. He used to be a quarterback, so that is a bonus. He played for Buffalo back in the day, right? Yeah, he's got. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. That's not a bad one.
I guess I'm hold on.
But okay, we got. But yeah, I feel we got a lot of questions. But Paul got a question too. I'm trying to find Paul's question. He had a question. I don't feel it's something about OTAs. There's so many questions today.
When he was saying, Paul was asking.
I got it.
Extra. If we get extra for having new coordinators, and I think the answer to that is no. But I could be wrong about that.
If you hire new coordinators, do you get extra OTA days?
I know when you have maybe when you do a head coach, but I don't think with the coordinator.
Sorry, I apologize. Hey, we gotta stop. Hey, Mama
Waller. Oh, my mom. I know she's probably like, "Where's my child?"
Yeah, they say, "Oh yeah, you're here." I see it. Hey, Mama Waller. There you go. There, look, we gotta stop. Always, I will stop on it. I will stop on a dime. I will stop on a dime. I think a lot. So do you Candi? Do you think? I mean, a lot of people keep asking about Raheem Morris as a DC
defensive coordinator.
I think Raheem's gonna get a head coaching job.
I don't think he is actually. I think he's kind of getting. I think they screwed him.
Hold on. See, when I saw that when he's been interviewed for this job, is he the minority guy who gets an interview but don't get hired?
Yeah, that's what he is.
Okay.
Yeah, when everybody doing the Rooney Rule.
Yeah.
At least they're not doing that to Brian Flores this year.
Thanks for super chat, Taj. Appreciate you. All right, here's the comment from Taj. Says tell Jaden to go to Tropicana or one of those Jamaican spots. That's rude and always out of food. He will gain weight. Yeah,
red beans and rice, baby.
I mean, you get the Jamaican beef patties, they be all right.
They be all
right. This question just kind of came to me a little bit. We're seeing DQ, at least for the moment. Maybe he's evaluating himself. Maybe he's going to change some things he's doing. How much self-reflection has Adam Peters done, and is he looking at his own process and maybe changing things for this upcoming free agency and draft?
Can y'all still see me, or did my screen freeze?
No, we can see.
Okay, am I frozen?
No, you're fine.
They are going through a reflective process. I mean, yesterday he was open and mentioning that both he and Terry side they could have done some things differently as it from a contract perspective. I mean, it's a reflective time. Reflection is only good when the behavior changes, and right now you don't necessarily have to be responsible for any behavior change, so we won't know if any behavior has changed until September.
I know he did. No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like with Candi in the presser with Candi saying, they were very. I mean, they were very reflective. Very.
And this can't happen again. That's what I said.
They kept saying it. Yeah.
This can't happen again. I read the clues. I read that too. That was gonna be my point. This can't happen again, which means to me, just me, this came from Josh Harris. I took that as that.
No.
That group, like, this can't happen again. That everybody's on the chopping block.
I don't think. No, I think they just are smart and they know. I mean, we all know it can't happen again.
I mean, 5 and 12, 5 and 12, and 5 to 5 and 12. It just can't happen again, regardless.
No, it just can't happen again.
Yeah,
like it's the 12 to 5, 12 and 5 to 5 and 12. And what I shared with you all before, there was that it was still 3 games out there that I know I looked at, and I said you should have got those. Even with the injuries. So if I saw it, I know they did.
The reason I say that, I'm gonna keep this is why I stay, like, you got to look at patterns of everybody and patterns of, like, Josh Harris. We got to look at his pattern, look at the teams he's owned. He is very patient with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Patient. I saw
he
him.
He is very patient with the New Jersey Devils.
Brett Brown.
He's very patient. So he's not that type of owner like we're used to seeing here over the years, right? Like the one we had in the past, or even a guy in Dallas, or other owners who tend to kind of are quick trigger. Like, he's very patient. Like, that's his back records. I mean, so I don't think that's not in him from his track record. I think I can only go off of track record. From his track record, that's not in him. But I do think that for somebody as a young, you got, like, to be real, AP is a rookie. He's a young GM, right? He tasted success. You don't want to taste failure no more if you tasted success. So yeah, you're going like, I don't want this no more. That's all I know. Dan Quinn has been around the block. You know what I mean? So if anybody that felt like, if anybody felt more in it than that, and obviously Dan Quinn felt that way. I'm not saying he didn't. It would be AP for real, because, like, you were a fresh GM. Like, you were a fresh GM. Year one, your team gets to the NFC Championship game. The world is sweet. Everything's great. You know what I mean? Now you felt failure. You like, I don't want this. This can't happen again. Yeah. So I'm not surprised I wasn't surprised at that response by both of them. Definitely wasn't surprised by AP's response to being reflective, because again, you have to be reflective, because the way you thought you were doing everything the right way because it worked in year one. I compare it to me in, like, college. My first year in college, like, it came, like, classes are easy because you're just doing your your introductory classes, blah blah blah, you're good. And then you get into my second year, I got into my major with the same mentality, and I, like, failed in all my classes in my sophomore year. But, like, you know what I mean? But again, my mindset was, all right, I need to do this. What I did in my first year is going to propel me in my second year. No. So now he learned from the second year. So the third year is where he should be improved and learn from it and be better for it. So that's how I looked at this situation where AP saying it shouldn't happen again. His second year wasn't a year that worked out for him. So now it's like, all right, I know what I did my first year. I know what I did my second year. My first year was good, but it wasn't good enough. And my second year I didn't do what I needed to do. So now I gotta go up on it. So I have all confidence I have all confidence that he will improve on what he did. And that's why I believe he was so reflective about what happened this season.
And I totally agree with, like, Adam Peters. I mean, you got to think about it. Even from his history, he hasn't been around a whole lot of losing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and now you have the person. He just has it, right? And I mean, he and having been around now, hey, I mean, it's a reputation thing, and people care about their reputation. And this ain't it. Right. And so
there's a question for you, Candi,
think
too.
that, okay, wait. I totally agree with everything with Wole, what you just said. Adam Peters is probably, I think he was reflecting in season. Like, no way, no how. Can't do this again. What's the question?
I'm trying to read here. It said, for Candi, are the candidates being evaluated for scheme fit only, or teaching, development, and succession planning?
It supposedly is all of the above. Okay. However, I love that question, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I got some challenges with this, because this goes back to what I've been saying about their identity in the program. I'm going to go to something as simple as tackles versus takeaways, which is a question I asked Coach Quinn last week. Okay. Is there a focus on the takeaway culture and knocking the ball out that you can't tackle. And Coach Quinn was like, I wish that was the issue. Okay, got it. Right. But here's the reality. If you want somebody that knows how to tackle, you need to get somebody that's a tackler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can continue to develop, but if you already at the pros and you don't know how to tackle,
it's a problem.
That's an issue.
Facts.
Okay, you should not be teaching anybody how to tackle at this point, in my opinion. Right?
Martin.
You want somebody that's getting takeaway. Now you reinforce the things that you're already good at. True. But I should not have to be teaching you how to tackle. And I've been going real kind of bare bones with this because they missed so many tackles. It was like on top of not getting takeaways, you also were poor at tackling. So do you get tacklers in here? Mm-hmm. Okay. If you want somebody who is a ball hawk or get takeaways, well, maybe you need to get somebody that does that, and then you reinforce it in practice. Right. And I think there was so much where I could also not see all of the balance was in the teaching. And that's great. But then you schematically, everybody knows what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. And I'm like, that's crazy. And I see this. It's like you're so busy trying to get the ball out of somebody's hands. You're shoving the guy and you miss the tackle. Mm-hmm. Tackle, right? And it's, to me, those are fundamentals. And so, yes, continue to teach and develop, but there's also, in my opinion, just some bare, like just level one-on-one things. By the time you get to this level, you got to know how to do this. Okay. Yeah. And it's just, you got to know how to tackle somebody now. Now, wait a minute. Now, hey, a missed tackle, maybe a tackle might have got you the other opposing team a first down, but it shouldn't get them a touchdown. 3 or 4 y'all just missed that tackle. And so it's just like, the play was supposed to stop 15 yards ago, but it just kept going. And so, because the player kept going. And so, I'm hoping for schematics mostly. I really am. Mm-hmm. The position coaching, right, is where some of these other fundamentals come in at, in my opinion. But from a scouting talent evaluation perspective, you need to be clear on what your program is. And that is who you go and get to map to your program. Please don't bring somebody else in there that don't know how to tackle. Just don't do that. Just don't do it.
Glenn, you want to say something?
What I was about to say was that, I mean, she's key there, right? Look at this year, how many players didn't tackle well. Mikey Sarin still getting run over. Quan Martin missed tackles. A lot of players didn't. I mean, let's be honest.
It's the truth.
Luvu trying to go for.
We had about 3 weeks where we were on angry runs every week. It was terrible.
I mean, Luvu's trying to get strips instead of get tackles. People didn't understand the fundamental of making the play, making a tackle. I mean, I can't remember what game it was. The game was it the
Dolphins game? The Dolphins game was bad too.
Dolphins game. Yeah, the Dolphin game. The Dolphin game where in Madrid, where you winning the game and there's a long run touchdown run, and that changes the whole game because you couldn't get a tackle or use the sideline as your friend. This is you, a professional football player, right? At this point, you should. To Candi's point, I agree. You should know how to tackle at this point. Everything else everything else is just technique and more fundamental to fine tune. Hey, these are little tricks of the trade that I picked up over here. This is a little trick that I picked up over here. But the fundamental of just being able to tackle should already be ingrained in you at this point.
I mean,
Coach Lombard, if we're focusing too much on turnovers, then we're really in trouble because we don't get no dead-gum turnovers.
I mean, and that's been 2 years in a row. Now I know when I asked Coach Quinn that question as well. I mean, he was like, "I'm gonna push back on you a little bit there because we ended in the plus, but in this season I couldn't agree with you more." And I'm like, "Well, okay," because in my mind I'm like, "Well, I know that your turnover margin or your score is 3." And the ratio, the difference is turnovers and takeaways, right? Mm-hmm. And so you didn't protect the football. It was way more. They were way more efficient with the football in 2024 because remember that was that stretch where Jake didn't turn the ball over. He didn't turn the ball over. So like nobody turned the ball. It was like no turnover, no picks, no fumbles. I mean, they were just like from an efficiency standpoint, it was beautiful. It was beautifully executed for like a stretch in 2024. We know this year, not so much, right? It's pretty ugly. But from a takeaway perspective, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Giveaways and takeaways, right?
Yeah, I got
Your net is supposed to be 3. You're supposed to have 3. You ended the season in 1, I think, and maybe in the postseason it was 2. Okay, yeah. You ended in the positive. True. Now you've regressed completely in a year in that category. But why? Because I see more attempts at getting a takeaway, and I see people trying, but they're missing tackles at the same token. So it becomes which one do you want them to do? And whatever it is that you want them to do, get the personnel that can do it. And then perfect it as whatever it is. Pick one, do both, whatever. Now, I know that's a thing that he says about linebackers. Well, the first thing your linebackers need to do is tackle. I've heard him say that. When he talk about the first thing your linebackers need to do is tackle. Well, then the linebackers you have out there need to be able to do what? Tackle. But even when you talk about from a safety perspective, now that was one thing that Jeremy Chin was excellent at.
Sure was.
Tackling. Now the covering might have been a little suspect, but guess what? When he got there, Buddy was on the ground. Okay, he knew how to tackle. Okay, and so that's kind of what you got. Which one do you want? Just pick one. Just make sure they do that. If you go back to Seattle versus San Francisco, this is a different game, but the point is still there. It was Seattle was driving. They were at 3rd and 17. And Seattle ends up getting the first down. Right? Why? Missed tackles. The camera spans to John Lynch, and he is livid. He's freaking out. Adam Peters knows this kind of stuff. I know he knows it. I know Dan Quinn knows it. You know, it's year 2 in a recalibration. It could be suspect, or we could have known now because of the evaluation period that, hey, guess what? Maybe this was only a 7 or 8 win team in the first place. And that's one of the things that I've been saying. This was probably a 7 or 8 win team in the first place, right? I mean, and that's all things considered and completely healthy. You won those close games. Fantastic. This year, you didn't. You were down your quarterback, down your wide receiver one, down your starting running back. All those things happened, and then it just fell apart. Everybody got exposed at that point.
No, I totally agree. We about to. I think we're. Is everybody set? I think we can close the stream out. Y'all, or you still have anything you want to add before we close the stream out? Because it's almost 11, guys. On a work night. Glenn, you want something you want to add? George?
Nah, man.
I mean,
I'm
going to go first.
For the chat.
Yeah.
I think everybody hopping on real quick.
Any other questions in the chat?
Oh, they had one. I think Todd had a question, but I felt like you answered the question. Oh, it is the one. This is one question. Right? There is a question. Is DQ prioritizing complementary philosophies between offense and defense, or is he hiring each side independently and letting this oversight be the unifying layer?
It's a good question.
I mean, it's a good question. I would hope that's what he was doing. I mean, listen, this is weird, right? Because we've literally seen a complete shift in what happened in year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, true. Post your live feeds on Washington Extreme, Commanders Extreme. All right, I will if I can find it. Candi.
How do I grade, and how do you grade AP this year?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. How do you? Okay, that's a good question. Trent.
Like, what grade does he get? You know, it's hard. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard to get a grade because it's difficult. I mean, nobody can get above a C. Like, this is just a reality because of the record. I mean, it's just you just by default you can't get above a C. Anybody you can't get above a C because of the record. Like, I mean, you just hate to be that way, but that's in my opinion, because of the record, you can't get above a C. I'm sure he probably gave himself an F. I mean, there's some things that went well, but even when I asked him about, some of the stuff that he brought up, I mean, hey, you come up and it's like, you like Trey Burks, right? Okay. But by the time he come in and by the time he get in there, I mean, the season is probably gone anyway. I do think though, this year's draft class, I do not think we'll see how years go on. But I definitely do not think they only had 5 draft picks, and I really don't think Adam Peters is getting enough credit for what this draft class did. I think they did a phenomenal job. 4 out of 5 getting steady start time or just steady playing time is remarkable. Josh Connolly played in every game. And you did see improvement from him. Jalen Lane, you saw, Trey Amos, I mean, phenomenal. But then he got injured, right? But he was as advertised and then some. And honestly, then some. I have a nickname for him, so if y'all start using it, just attribute it to me. It's Game Day Trey. His name is Game Day Trey, because I would tell him even when he practiced, he was practicing like he was playing, like it was game day. And that young man brings it every time. Bill, 7th rounder, didn't even play basically his last. I mean, Bill got 4 or 5 Pepsi Rookie of the Years this year. Still, remains to be seen with Kane Madrano, but he did have an impact play in that game against the Eagles at Northwest. The very first
special teams.
Special teams play. So that's what you see, right? You get the movement going on special teams, and you go from there. It remains to be seen if that continues. You notice I didn't go back to last year's draft class, because I think even after last year, it was still like, okay, and at that point, it was Jaden, Mikey, and Brandon Coleman that we saw a lot of from last year. Brandon Coleman ended up losing his starting job, and I think Mikey Sanders still was schemed out of position. You know what I mean? And so we'll see what happens. But I think I don't think this year's draft class is getting enough credit.
No, I agree. We're gonna close the stream out, but before we do close the stream out, I appreciate everybody from in the chat. You guys,
y'all. I know it was emergency.
You guys rock, man. For an emergency pod on a Tuesday, we just did one on Sunday. You guys are like that. Before we end this stream, Candi, how can folks catch your great content for Bowie TV, and also catch you on social media where you do great reporting?
Yeah, no, thank you all as always for having me. I appreciate this partnership with you guys and doing this with you all. You all can follow me on X at CWall SE. You can follow me everywhere at my name, Candi Waller. And Bowie TV Sports everywhere. If you're in Prince George's County, Maryland, and you've not cut your cable, you can find Bowie TV on Comcast channels 190 and 1097. Like I say, Coach Prime say, I ain't hard to find. I really am not. I'm not hard to find. And I know I've been saying it a lot. Like, this is gonna be a busy off season. Like, oh my God, I was really loafing last off season. I didn't care. I was just like, I told y'all I was loafing at the combine. Karita was grinding. The Ravens had draft picks. I was like, she was like, don't you want to go meet the players? I was like, no, I'm gonna sleep in. I'll see y'all later. I was chilling. I was like, whoever they pick, I'm about whoever they pick. I don't even care.
I had 5 picks, so it was hard to be grinding like that.
I was like, I can't be running around trying to figure this out.
Right.
Over 5 picks? No, you're not gonna try. Now I was tracking the Deebo Samuel trade. So I was aware that was going down, and that happened that Saturday. But other than that, I was like, I see y'all at dinner. I'm asleep. But that's not gonna be the case this year, y'all.
No, we got a lot of work to do this year. We got a lot of work.
Y'all will be seeing a lot of us this offseason.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, folks, we appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. Now y'all can go to sleep. I know y'all gotta work. Go to sleep for real. Like, y'all staying up. Shame on y'all for real. It's like I'm playing. I appreciate y'all. Anyway, you've been listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errything, powered by the Urban Sports Team of Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia, and Bowie TV too. For Aegis, Yedig Deuces, we are out. Peace.